Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd. As well as my friends over at Yarnspirations.com. Today we're going to do the zigzag crochet top. This is an adult top all the way from extra small to 5 extra large. So you'll have the color breakdowns here that we have. We have extra small requiring 4 balls, medium is 6, extra large is 9, 2 to 3 XL is 12, and 15 balls for 5 up to 5 XL. So what it is, it's Red Heart Croquette here. So it is a striped yarn, so you can see that there's different types of croquet as far as the coloring that you can see, and it's really quite fun. So you just need these little puck things, and we'll need a 3.25 millimeter size D as in dog crochet hook. So let's talk a little bit more about this pattern and see what we're gonna get ourselves involved with today. Over the last few years, Yarnspirations is doing a really good job in color coding. So for example, all the sizes are available on this one pattern. Instead of producing all these different patterns as separates, they're all together as one. So whenever there's a decision to be made, or there's a new count or something, it is exercised by using the color coding like you see. So you can see how it all breaks down. So you can see that matches then the ball counts as well. So if we flip then to the second page, what we have is that we do have crochet diagrams, and that's available on the last page. But whenever there's a decision to be made, for example, as we start off, it says chain 96, 106, 106, 118, 138. So what I would do if I were you is that I'd probably go through the pattern and actually circle the one. So you have your small, your medium, your large, extra large, 2 to 3 XL, and then 4 to 5 XL. So just circle the one. So whenever there's a chain count, like they'll leave something information at the end. So first round they said at the end there's 96, 106. These are the number of DC, so it tells you what it is. So this particular pattern is available in many different sizes. So as we work our way through 1 through 17, you will notice that it gives you a different stitch count at the end of each, but it's pretty much the same repeat as we're doing it. So after we get to the 20th round, you're gonna see repeat 17 to 20 rounds 0, 0, 0, 1 or 2 more times, and that is going to give you the build out in the shoulders if you need it. So that's something that you have to then pay attention to. Then on the next page, okay, there's lots of color coding here. So we're gonna divide the sleeves up, and we're gonna follow everything in order to make it all work. And then the body is just a matter of, once you start the body, you can just continually go around in a circle, and then you just finish it until it gets to a certain size, just like you see. So here's kind of what it looks like with the zigzag, and these are all the dimensions. And then finally on the last page you have the crochet diagrams available to you, so you can see that it's giving you the row counts when we're going to do that, so we can be able to follow up. So this is row 1 through 17, and this is 8 through 12, and so it's this one here is kind of showing you how it's all working out, just like that. And then these are the individuals. So without further ado, let's grab our crochet hook, and we're gonna start, and let's begin to make our top together. So as we begin today, just notice that the top is working from the neck going all the way down to the base, and it's very much done like a baby sweater, the way that the sleeves are formed. Let's create a slip knot. This is an intermediate level using a size D as in dog 3.25 millimeter hook. So choose the size of chain that you want to do. I'm gonna just do the smallest one just for tutorial reasons, so I'm gonna chain 96, and so just choose either 96, 106, 106, 118 or 138, and just chain, and then be right back. So when we get all the way to the end, we're gonna slip stitch to form a ring, and I'll show you that in just a moment. Before I begin to actually do this, I want to show you a little tip. So let's just do 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Once you get 10, just slide it up off your hook, and if you put the base of this on the first one here, and then just keep on going of just counting this, it'll build from this, and therefore you will not twist your chain. So then you go 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, and then just keep on going, and then you'll see this building out. Once you have your 96 on here, you would think that the chain would be a lot longer, but because the yarn is so thin, it's really not that long at all. So once you have your 96 done, or your 106, 106, 118 or 138, just yarn over, pull through everything. and because it was already on there, this should not be too twisted, so you'll be able to fix it at the end if you have to. So we're gonna begin round number 1. So let's begin, and we're gonna chain up 3, which will count as the first double crochet, and starting in the next chain, if you turn it over and get the back hump only, you can double crochet in the back strand of the chain, and you'll have a much nicer look at the neckline if you do that. Once you do the first one, the rest of the chain should stay turned over. So what I want you to do is apply 1 double crochet in each of the chains going all the way around, and there should be the same number. So if I started with 96, then there should be 96 double crochets, and I would verify your count when you get all the way back around. So please do that. This is round number 1, and make sure you are checking this off on your list as far as getting your steps complete. So when you get all the way back around, I did verify there is 96 double crochets before I join this to the beginning of what we have. So I'm just going to join it. Okay, and when I join it, I want to make sure that when I pull it out, look, it's got a twist. That wasn't on purpose, by the way. So I want to verify that that does not have any kind of twist in it. It should be flat like a car belt, a fan belt. So just kind of twist it if you have to, and then join it to the beginning, and you should have a total of whatever. It's either 96, 106, 106, 118, or 138. So this particular pattern requires us to go in the opposite direction, so every other round we have to turn around. So right where we are, just turn the whole project, and then we're going to begin round number 2. In round number 2, so let's just do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're then going to skip the first 2 double crochets, so the first one and the next one, and just go to the second over. Okay, so skip this one, and we want a double treble. So we want to wrap once and twice, that's a treble, and the third time is a double treble. So skipping the next one and then go to the second one over, and just go into there and do a double treble. Okay, so here's the repeat pattern all the way across. So you're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and you're going to double treble. So 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to skip the next one and double treble into the next, and you're going to do that all the way around. So I'll leave that in your capable hands. So these double trebles provide a lot of spacing, so it can allow your top to grow pretty relatively quickly considering the yarn is so small. So chain 2, wrap 3 times, skip the next one, and double treble in the next, and you should be able to get yourself all the way around, and I'll see you at the end of this round. So when you get back around, I want to show you something. So we want to keep our counts, right? So how do I know if I'm right or wrong? So what you're going to notice, that you'll notice these posts, these are the double treble posts, there should be exactly half of the number of this count. For example, when I did this, there was 96 if you recall. So half of 96 equals 48, so there are 48 double trebles. So if you chose the other sizes, 106, 118, 138, then just divide that by 2, and that should be the number of these double trebles that you have. Once you have that very last one in there, don't forget to chain 2, and then you need to attach this to the 5th chain up. So just keeping that 5th chain, just keep that chain 2 spacing in there, and just slip stitch like that, and then turn your work, and let's go in the other direction, and let's begin the 3rd round. So let's begin the 3rd round. We've already turned our work, so we're just going to slip stitch to the first chain 2 space, and you're going to chain 3, which will count as a double crochet, and in the same chain 2 space you want to double crochet 2 more times. So this is a really easy round, because once you have that done, you have a total of 3 in that one. Come to the next chain 2 space, and then apply 3 double crochets in that. So what I want you to do then is apply 3 double crochet into each of the chain 2 spaces going all the way around, and I'll see you at the end of this round. As we get all the way around on round number 3, the very last chain 2 space has a variation. So for the size that I'm working on, for the small size, it's 3 into this chain 2 space. Now for the next size up, the medium and the large, it's 4, and then for the 3 extra large it's 3, and then all the way to the 5 extra large it's up to 4. So just take a look at that as a pattern, and that will put it back in balance for you. So then you're just gonna slip stitch to the beginning, and then you're gonna turn your work, and then we're gonna proceed into round number 4. And right now it should look nice and flat because it's been opening up at this time. So let's move on to round number 4. So as we begin to do round number 4, we're going to be creating these up and down waves. Here, see how we have skipping over 2? That's incorrect. So at the time of the filming of this, this is being corrected by the design team. So it's only been skipping over 1 in this tutorial, has been just showing you skipping over the 1 in that one anyway. So it should be good to go. So if you're looking for number 4, what we're going to do is that we are going to begin by chaining, by doing a beginning double crochet 2 together, which I will show you how that's done. And you're gonna be putting the 2 together. There's then gonna be 2 double crochets in a row, and then in the next one there's going to be 3 into the same one, and then there's gonna be 2 in a row, and then the next 3 are 3 together double crochet. And this is gonna be a repeat pattern going all the way around for all of the sizes that when we get there. So let's begin to do round number 4 next. So let's begin to do round number 4. This is going to be a beginning, and we've already turned our work, so we're just gonna chain 2. This is a beginning 2 together double crochet. So what we're going to do is that we're going to use the first double crochet and the second as a together. So just wrap the hook and going into the first one, pull through 2 and hold, and then go into the next one, pull through 2 and hold, and you're gonna pull through all 3 loops there to make that work. When we get all the way back around, we have to convert that into a 3 together double crochet, but don't worry about that for now. We'll come back to that when we come back around. So let's begin the repeat pattern. So the next 2 in a row are each gonna be a double crochet. So 1 and 2, and then the next one is gonna be 3 double crochets into the same one. This is gonna create the wave, the top peak of a wave. So 1, 2 and 3. Now we're gonna come down the wave, and you'll see the wave forming a little bit later, is that the next 2 in a row will be 1 double crochet in each, and then we're going to be at the bottom of the valley. So the next 3 in a row will be 3 together double crochet. So wrap the hook and going into the next one, pull through 2 and hold, wrap the hook into the next one after that, pull through 2 and hold, and then wrap, go into the next one, pull through 2 and hold. You should see 4 loops before you yarn over and pull through all of them. So then to go back up to the peak again, the next 2 in a row will be each a double crochet, and then the next one is the top of the peak, so there's gonna be 3 into the next one, okay, and then you're gonna go down the valley. You can kind of see the wave starting. So you go down, so there's gonna be 2 double crochets in a row. So just remember that there's 2 double crochets that stand by themselves between the valleys and the peaks. So now we're at the bottom of the valley, so the next 3 come together, the 3 together double crochet. And I want you to repeat this same idea going all the way around. This is round number 4, and when we come back around we'll just finalize this off and keep you moving in this pattern today. We're gonna come into the next stitch and we're gonna do 2 together. So just go into that one, grab it and hold it, and then go into the very beginning one, right in the beginning, and then pull that together, and then just attach it to the first beginning cluster, like our beginning 2 together. So turn your work and let's begin round number 5. So we're now going to go to round number 5. We're going to begin again doing your chain 2 just to get yourself started, and the first 2 are coming together, so it's a double crochet 2 together, and then it's going to be 2 by themselves, and in the middle one that you have here there's going to be 5 double crochets. Then you're going to then put 2 by itself, and then the next 3 are coming together. 2 by itself, and then you back on the top, and then there's 5. So let's begin round number 5. So let's begin round number 5. We're gonna chain 2. That's just as your starting point. And what I want to pay attention to the most is that there is the middle one of the grouping of 3 that is at the peak. So you'll really start to see the valleys at this moment. So we're going to begin, and we're gonna just collect the first 2. And it's just a matter of getting yourself started so that you can see the repeat pattern. So we're gonna collect the first 2 for a beginning 2 together, and then there's gonna be 2 by itself. So 2 by itself is a double crochet, so 1 and 2, and this will take you to the top of this one here, which is the grouping of 3, and there will be 5 double crochets in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Once you have your 5 in there, the next 2 are by themselves. So 1 and 2, and then over the next 3 there'll be 3 together. So coming into the next one, pull through, and then the one after that, pull through, and the one after that. There should be 4 loops on the hook by the time you get through there. Pull through all 4. And now you're coming back up the hill again, so it's gonna be 2 in a row. So why are you putting 5 at the tops? That's because this thing is still expanding outward. So they're adding more stitches at the tops, which makes a lot of sense. So then there will be 5 double crochets at the top, and I want you to continue this all the way around for round number 5. So I'm coming around on number 5. I'm just at the top of the peak. I just gotta put my 5 in there, and we're gonna end the round like we did with round number 4. With putting the 2 together right at the very end. So here's my 5 at the top, and the 2 are by itself, 1 and 2, and then the last one is gonna go in, and this is really just pulling things together, and you're gonna go into the base over here just to grab it on there, just to pull it nice and tight. Pull through the 2, then pull through all of it, and then attach it to the top of the beginning 2 together. You're gonna turn your work, and we're now going to move on to round number 6, and it should be laying flat like this, and we're gonna continue to number 6 in just a moment. We're now going to move on to round number 6, and we are going to chain a total of 6. So when we chain a total of 6, it'll count as a double treble and a chain 1 space. We're going to skip the next stitch out and double treble into the next, and then you're going to chain 1 and double treble and skip 1 and treble into the next. If you look at the tops here, you're going into the one just before the middle point, and when you chain 1 and skip 1, it's just the one after the middle point. That gives you a reference point when you're looking, and then you're gonna just come down. So every other stitch basically has a double treble with the chain 1 space that separates it. Let's begin round number 6. Let's begin round number 6. We're gonna chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm looking toward the point, and the point is the middle one. So I know there's not gonna be a stitch there, but I know there's gonna be a stitch here. And then looking backward, I know that there's not gonna be a stitch here, but there is gonna be one there. That's the one that I want to start off with when I go to start this. Okay, and that will get ourselves established right back up to the point, or right back up. We're then going to chain 1 and wrap in the hook 3 times. You're gonna skip 1, and this will take you to the one just before the point. So then we know that we're gonna be perfect as we go all the way around. So skipping 1, chain 1, wrapping 3 times, and then this is the one directly after the point. So there's the point, and that's the one we're gonna skip, and we're gonna come to the one after. Then chain 1, wrap 3 times, skipping the next one, and we know we're right when you go to chain 1 and then you're going to skip, and when you skip it, you're going to be at the base right here of the 3 together. Okay, so please continue this all the way around. This is round number 6, and just skipping every other one will take you all the way around. Once you come all the way back around, just chain 1 and then just join it to the 5th chain up, so that you can maintain that chain 1 space. And after you've done that join, just turn it around and let's get ready for the 7th round. In the 7th round, what we want to do is that we want to slip stitch to the next chain 2 or chain 1 space. Chain 3 counts as a double crochet, and double crochet into that same one. So every chain 1 space all the way around is going to get 2 double crochet in each. Let's do that now, round number 7. So let's begin, and we're going to slip stitch to the next chain 1 space, and then that's where our story begins. We're gonna chain up 3, counts as a double crochet, and then double crochet into that same space. Then switch to the next chain 1 space and then put in 2 double crochet. So 1 and 2, and do that all the way across. So just jump to the next space and 2 double crochets, and so on. See you at the end of round number 7. I've now come all the way around for round number 7. I've got 2 of these double crochets in each of the chain 1 spaces. I just want to slip stitch to the top of the first chain 3. Turn your work, and let's begin row number 8 next. So let's look at the diagram here for round number 8. We're gonna read it this way because that's the way the arrow says it. So we're gonna begin with the chain 2, putting the first two together. This time, instead of just 2 by itself and then the top, it's 3 by itself, and the top has 5 double crochets in it. The next 3 are by itself, and then the next 3 are 3 together. 3 by itself, and then you're doing another top, it's 5 into the same. The next 3 are by itself, and then the next 3 are together. This is what we're going to maintain then for round number 8. So let's begin number 8. We're gonna just chain 2, and we're gonna put the first 2 together. So starting in the next one and the one after that, put it together. So this is a valley, and now we're going to put the next 3 by itself. So 1, these are all double crochets by the way, and 2 and 3, and now the next one is going to be 5 into the same one. It's considered the peak. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and now the next 3 are by itself. So 1, 2 and 3, and now the next 3 are together. So just picking up the next 3, just gather them to double crochet 3 together, and then the next 3 by itself, and then the next one after that has 5 into the same one. So please do this all the way around round number 8. So I'm just coming all the way back around, and I'm just doing my last 3 that we have, and I need to put the last section together. So I'm just gonna do the last one as a 2 together, coming right into the beginning, and then just put those together with the first one. So just slip stitch over, and then turn your work, and let's begin the next row. Let's begin round number 9. We're gonna just chain up 2. We're gonna go in the opposite direction because we've already turned, and this time there will be 1, 2, 3, 4 by itself, and then 5 into the top one, the middle one, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 is by itself, and then the next 3 together. So you're gonna just keep maintaining that. And so let's begin to do round number 9. Let's begin to do round number 9. You're just gonna chain 2, and you're gonna put the first 2 together. And then the next 4 in a row are by itself. So we have 1, 2, 3 and 4, and that should take you to the middle one of that one right there. And so there will be 5 in the top. So 1, 2, it's 3, 4 and 5, and then you have 4 going down. So we have 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then the next 3 are 3 together. And I want you to do that all the way around. This is round number 9. So I'm coming up to the end of round number 9. I just did my 4 on the way down, and I just got to do my extra 2 together to attach it to the very beginning, and then that will get me to where I need to go. And we attach to the top of the first beginning together. Turn our work and let's begin round number 10. Round number 10 is exactly what we know here. Okay, so right in these spot. So let's just begin to do that. I don't need to take you to the diagram to show you that. So we're going to just chain up 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're going to skip over, and we're going to make sure that we are going to do the next one. So it's a double treble, so wrap 3 times. And if you recall, remember how we talked about that it fell just before the point? It falls before the point again. So just keep an eye on that, just for a reference point, just to get yourself started. So skipping to the next one. Obviously it's going to be a little bit bigger. Okay, so we have to watch for that. That means that just you have more of these double trebles going up. Up the valleys really. So then just chain 1, skipping wrapping 3 times, and so then you're just making sure that you're just skipping 1 and then going into the next, and I want you to do that all the way across, please, and I will see you at the end of row number 10 or round number 10. Once you get all the way back around and everything is in balance, just chain up 1 and just attach then to the 5th chain and keep that space going. Let's turn our work and let's begin round number 11. Round 11 is what we already know it to be, so we're just going to start and we're gonna slip stitch into the chain 1 space, and we're gonna chain 3, which will count as a double, and then a double crochet into that space. So you're gonna jump to the next space now and just put in 2 double crochet in each one of these chain 1 spaces, and that's all there is then for round number 11. I'll see you at the end of this round. Okay, and coming up to the end of round number 11, and then I'm just going to slip stitch to the beginning, chain 3, like so, and then I'm gonna turn my work and let's move on to round number 12. So let's move on to round number 12, and when we go to start up, we're gonna do that little 2 together right in the special in the beginning, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by itself, and the next one has 5 into the same, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 3 is been put together. So it's the answer this time is 5s that are by themselves. Let's do this for round number 12. So let's begin. We're gonna chain 2 and we're gonna put the next 2 together. There's 2 together, single or double crochet. And then we're gonna begin our fun stuff. So it's gonna be 5 in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then the next one has 5 into the same one, so let's count those out. Starting in the next one, just 5 in the same, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then 5 by itself starting in the next one, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then the next 3 are together. So just bring those next 3 together. And then pull through all 4 loops, and then 5 by itself, then 5 into the next one, 5 by itself, and then the next 3 together. Please do this all the way around. Round number 12. So let's finish up round number 12, and we're just putting the last 2 together with the beginning like we always have been doing, and then we're just gonna link it together with the top of that one just to bring it all together. We're gonna turn our work and now move to round number 13. Let's go back to the diagram now. Let's go to round number 13. We're gonna chain up 2 and put the first 2 together as always, and then 1 2 3 4 5 6 by itself, 5 into the next, 6 by itself, and then the next 3 together, 6 by itself, and then 5 into the next, 5 by itself, and then the next 3 together. This is round number 13. Let's begin round number 13. We're gonna chain up 2 and we're gonna put the first 2 together just to keep it moving. Okay, and what I want to be paying attention to is the middle one of the grouping of 5 to make sure that the next middle one ends up in the middle. So we're gonna say 6 in a row. So we're gonna say 1 2 3 4 5 and 6, and the next one should be the middle one, and it is. So then that one's gonna be 5 into the same one. So 1 2 this is 3 4 5, then 6 by itself, the next 3 together, 6 by itself, and then the 5 into the next one. So please do that all the way around. This is round number 13. Okay, I'm just finishing up this round, and this is round number 13. Lucky 13. We had the final 6 to go after the final 5 were in the same as we make our way back to the beginning. So when we get back to the end, we need to put the final 2 together. So let me just count this out. And there we go. So we're gonna put the next one together with the very starting one, and let's bring it all together as a happy little story and slip stitch it to the top of the first. So let's now continue and turn into row number 14. So as we begin round number 14, we're gonna go in the opposite direction. We've already turned our work. It's going to be chaining up your 6 again. You're skipping the first one, going to the next, just like it was before when I explained it, is that you'll see that when it comes down, right, it's always missing that middle one when you're in the point, and then you're always getting that bottom one when it's hitting the 3. So just so it's just a double treble, and then chain 1, skip 1, double treble, chain 1, skip 1, all the way around round number 14. Begin round number 14, chain 6, so 1 2 3 4 5, there's your double treble, and 6 is a chain 1 space, and then skipping 1. So you can always look to the one over here and kind of look backward, but I find just go for it and see what happens, right? So I'm just going to skip 1, double treble in the next. Oops, you gotta wrap that hook 3 times, don't forget. Even I forget that. You know, crochet really is about the journey in the end, no matter what anybody tells me. So chain 1, and we're gonna wrap 3 times, skip 1, double treble in the next, and we're gonna do that all the way around. You know what you're doing at this point. Continue round number 14. So I've just done the last one. I've chained 1, and now I'm just gonna go to the 5th chain up to keep that chain space going. So let's just do that, and we're gonna move on then to the 15th round. So let's turn our work, go back in the other direction. So we already know what we're doing is that we're going to slip stitch to the next chain 1 space, which is the next one, and then chain 3, so 1 2 3, and then put another double crochet in that chain 1 space. We're then going to jump to the next one here and put 2 double crochet in there. We already have done this before, and this is row number row number 15. Sorry about that. So we're just gonna maintain what we already know. So 2 double crochets in each of the chain 1 spaces all the way around. So I've just done the last one. Now just join it, and this will conclude round number 15. Let's turn our work and begin round number 16. Let's begin round number 16. We're gonna chain up 2. We're gonna put the first 2 together, and then we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 by itself, 5 into the same, and then 7 by itself, 3 together, and etc. Let's do round number 16. Let's do round number 16. We're gonna chain up 2, and then we're gonna put the first 2 together, and then we have 7 by itself, and then 5 into the same, 7 by itself and 3 together. I think by this point in the tutorial you get that concept. Let's continue this then for round number 16. Okay, I'm just finishing up round number 16, and number 16 I'm just gonna put the last together. You already know what you're doing at this point. Just bring the first one and then join. So we're gonna turn our work. Now round number 17, 18, 19 and 20 are the repeats for the remaining of this particular top of the top itself. Let's go on to round number 17 and let's examine. So let's move along to round number 17. There is an error in what you're seeing here, but eventually it will be corrected and you won't see this error in the future. So round number 17, it shows that there's 5 in the peaks. There shouldn't be. There should only be 3. And round number 20 is the same as round number 17, so there should only be 3 here. Okay, so just put 3s if you're seeing that on yours, and then eventually this will be fixed. You're seeing a preliminary view of this pattern, which is still going through a little bit of renovations. So, or I don't even know what the right word is. So what we're going to do is that when we go to chain up, we're gonna chain up 2, put the 2 together. There will be 8 by itself and then 3 into the next, and then 8 by itself, and then 3 will be coming together. So just make sure you keep your eyes on your 3s when you go to do this. This is the start of the repeat pattern for when you're going to do this section of the tutorial. So let's begin this section number 17. So let's start round number 17, part of the repeat. So just chain 2. I've already chained 1 off camera, so I've already chained 2. Put the first 2 together as always, and then once those are together, there will be 8 double crochets by itself, and then the middle one here there will only be 3 this time. So going forward in this pattern, regardless of the size you're working on, the top peaks will only have 3 going in there. You'll have then 8 coming down by itself, and then the next 3 together, and then 8 going back up, and then there will be 3 into the next one. Please do this. This is round number 17. I'm coming up to the end of round number 17, and we're just doing the magic that we normally do, putting the things together and then attaching it to the beginning, and then we're gonna slip stitch. Okay, so let's turn our work and do number 18. 18 is what we already know it, a nice easy round, and let's just take you to the diagram just to verify. Round number 18, just chaining up 6 again, skipping the first one, double treble into the next, chain 1, skipping 1, and etc. And you'll do that all the way around. Number 18. Number 18, we're gonna chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and skipping the next one and double trebling into the next, and etc. And you'll do that all the way around. So just make sure you chain 1s in between them, and then chain 1 and double treble, so wrapping twice, or sorry, 3 times, and then just continue to do that all the way around. So if you are doing the extra small, medium, or large extra large, then we're going to be concluding really soon, and those for then the 2 to 3 XL, you'll repeat rounds number 17 through 20 one more time, and then 4 to 5 XL you'll repeat it 2 more times. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just do this. This is round number 18. Coming up to the end of round number 18, I've just chained 1, and I am going to slip stitch to the 5th chain up. Okay, so let me get it in there. Here we go. So we're gonna turn our work. Well, I did have it in there, just 1 second. I've been playing music in between the takes of going around. Now when we start getting smaller on this, when we start forming the sleeves, it won't take as long to get around. So I know it takes a while. So let's begin round number 19. Slip stitch to the chain 1 space, chain 3, you know what you're doing hopefully, and you're gonna double crochet in the same spot. Go to the next chain 1 space and place 2 double crochets in that space, and keep doing that all the way around. So 2 double crochet in each space going all the way around for round number 19. So I've just now finished the 19th round, and I'm just gonna join it to the top of the beginning chain 3. So round number 20 is the same as round number 17. It's the final round for 3 of the sizes, and then the next size we'll have to do rounds number 17 to 20 one more time, and then the final largest size we'll have to do that 2 more times, 17 to 20. To begin number 20, when we joined it we have to turn it. I almost forgot that. So turn, and let's just chain 2, 1 and 2, and join the first 2 together. So it's just like 17. So there's gonna be 8 in a row. So starting in the next one, so 8, and then 3 into the next after that, 8 by itself, and then 3 together. So we're just maintaining what we already know from round 17. Please do that. I think you got it by now, and let's continue round number 20, which is the final for 3 of the sizes. So I'm just finishing round number 20, and I'm just pulling the last 2 together just like we had been all along, and then just attach it to the beginning. So now we're gonna turn and work. This is the end of round number 20 for the 3 sizes. So for extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, you're now completely done this section. If you are doing 2 to 3 XL, please repeat 17 through 20 one more time, and then 4 to 5 XL you'll have to do 17 to 20 2 more times, and then you can start here. Now it does feel like a long time to get here. So when we go into our next part, you have a large circle that's been done, and let me just zoom at the camera a little bit to see what we're done. So we've done all this work. So now it's gonna get faster, because once we're done this section here and we turn our work and we restart, so let me just do that before I forget, is that we are going to then fold this in half and start this. So what we're seeing here is that these are gonna be the sleeves, so we're no longer crocheting on the sleeves at all. We're only gonna crochet within the body section. Therefore this thing is gonna go a lot more faster. So if you wanna see it from this perspective, it's almost like angel wings, and we're just gonna be building it out. So when we come back, what we're going to do is that I'm gonna show you how to divide this off. You'll have to read the instructions because it's different for all the sizes. There are some similarities, and what we need to do is leave some arm sleeves here. But it's like a baby sweater, is that once we did this area here, the yoke, then the body gets a lot faster because you don't have to go this whole generation. You just have to go around just the one section. So when we come back, we'll get that started, and let's join you then. So at this point in the tutorial, we have a big round circle regardless of what size you're working on. And what I am suggesting that we're going to do in the next part of this tutorial is to prepare ourselves to make the body section, which is part of that circle. So right now you have the circle. Hopefully you can see that. And so then you have the neckline. So what we have to do is that we have to figure out where the sleeves are going to be. And what I'm proposing that we do is that we actually locate it now. So I don't want you necessarily to start this thing and do the stitch counting as it's showing, because the fact is what if you're wrong? So if you can lay it out now and locate the special areas, then we can get started. So our goal is to locate whereabouts those sleeves are going to go. So when we go to crochet around this thing, that we are going to crochet along the back and the front, and when we get to the armholes we're going to pull those together. Now some of the armholes, except for what is it, the small and the medium, there's no chain work. So when you go to pinch those together, you are literally just going to bring it together. But the larger sizes have you doing extra chains. Now I want to tell you something right here, right now. This whole pattern works in sets of 20, and so when you're looking at this idea, you will notice that it's going to chain 20 in the larger sizes. So if you were working on the large all the way to 5 extra large, you will have 20 chains that are added here, and that will provide a thicker, or sorry, a more broad arm sleeve. So that's something that you have to consider. So if you need to make it bigger, you have to keep it in sets of 20 in order to keep that wave going. But there's even more of a secret, and you will see that in the pattern. It says skip 20 stitches, skip 80 stitches, 100, 120. There's a really easy way to be able to do that, and without really having to sit there and fiddly. So let me quieten down for a moment, and let's go to the pattern. And what we want to do is get some stitch markers, and let's find where those sleeves are going to be and read those instructions in order to make that happen. And hopefully it will work out slept on this overnight, so it should work out in my brain. Whether it comes to you on camera today, that's another question. So right here in the instructions, it tells us to be able to divide the body for the sleeves. So what we need to do is that we need to figure out where that is, and we can do that now before we start picking it up and start crocheting this thing. We can actually mark it with some stitch markers. So it says beginning double crochet, 1 double crochet in the next 8, 3 double crochet in the next, which is the peak, and then 1 double crochet in the next, and then do the 3 together. And it says to do that either twice, 3 times, 3 times, 4, or 4. So what I'm suggesting that we do is that we should mark where that's going to be the first. Then it says to chain 0, 0, 20, 20, or 20. That's the arm sleeves. So if it needs to create extra space, you have to keep it in sets of 20. So the 20 is what makes up a chevron in this thing. Then it says to skip over the next 80, 80, 80, 100, or 120. And what that is that that's giving us the distance around the circumference of the top, or the circumference of the top of the shoulder that will come around. And then it says repeat the pattern for the left sleeve 4, 4, 4, 5, and 6. That's the actual pattern repeat itself. And so we'll be able to mark that. Then what we have to just do is that we then have to mark the other side. So let's try and do this together. I'll try to go as slow as I can because I'm still trying to work it out in my head. So let's begin to do that next. So I'm just gonna cut some extra yarn, and I'm gonna use these as a stitch marker. Even if you're doing the chaining for the extra sleeve space that you may need, I would still cut the 4. So it's stated in the instructions, so this has been turned as if I'm about to crochet it. So I've already turned my work when I finished the last one, and it's just laying down. So it's stated to do the pattern. So when you did your chaining up and you do your 2 clusters and etc., we are going to do that. So it's said to do that either 2, 3, 4, or 4. So if it's the 2 size, so then we have to say, okay, this is, I'm looking for the valley right here. Okay, so this is 1. Okay, so the valley to the valley, and then the valley to the valley is 2 right there. And I'm going to mark that one. So let me just get an extra hook here. So I'm gonna mark the valley there. So mine happens to be 2. You could have 3 or 4 depending on your size. So there is one location of a starting of a sleeve. So let me just take a quick moment and let's just rotate this so that we can continue to count. Now it said to skip the next 80, 80, 100, or 120. I'm not gonna sit here and count boom, 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 boom. What I know is that the valley to the valley is 20 stitches. So if I want to skip 80 stitches, I just gonna say 20, 40, 60, and 80 right there. So I'm gonna take my marker and mark that stitch with a stitch marker. Okay, so we know that this piece and this piece belong together. So I'm just going to bring those together. Even if I'm going to chain, I'm still just gonna bring this together, and I'm just gonna bring the one stitch marker through the other so that it will pull it together, so I do not get confused. I've done stuff like this in the past where you go around and you do your counts and then something's wrong. So it's easier to mark all this stuff. So there is an arm sleeve right there. Let's continue to rotate the circle and then read the next set of instructions. So in the instructions, when I pulled this together, it stated that it will be either a repeating of 4, 4, 5, or 6. And so when I did this and I jumped my 80, that was a repeating of 4. Okay, so keep that in mind the way that that's written. So now we're gonna work our way along a larger span. So now it states that we want to repeat the pattern either 5, 6, 6, 7 or 8. So the pattern is the valley to the valley. So if it says that I need to repeat this a total of 5 times, I want to skip 5 over to 5 valleys. So 1 valley to valley is 1, valley to valley is 2, valley to valley is 3, valley to valley is 4, and valley to valley is 5. So you may have 6, 7 or 8. Okay, so this is a large span, so you're gonna mark this one. And now what we're gonna do is that we're gonna mark the next sleeve. And so how many are you going to skip? You're going to skip the same amount that you had skipped over here before. So in my case it was skipping over a total of 80. So we know that there's 20 per section. So I'm just gonna say valley to valley is 20, valley to valley is 40, valley to valley is 60, and valley to valley is 80. And right there is the next one. So we know that where I left it before, this is another arm sleeve. So I want to take the one and go through there and join those together. And I do tie it with the bow tie just to so I can get it out once I'm ready. So even if you're doing the chaining, just keep on, just do this, because then you can have it already pre-marked before you go around, and then it's less stress. Okay, so here's where we started. So when we go to put this out, let's just line it up now, and let's see if that makes any sense. Okay, so I'm just lining it up. So there's my arm sleeve here, and there's my arm sleeve there. And then here in the middle section, this is just extra yarn here. So here is my new body section right here. So if once I go around this next round, if there's a chain work, we'll do that, and then we'll get ourselves established. So you can see that when you're working through this is that you were doing this whole span at one point and it was getting slower and slower, but you will find that the body is going to be a little bit easier to manage. So regardless of what size you did the yoke, you just have to follow it, and hopefully that made sense the way that I did it. So I don't know any other better way to teach that other than that. So what I want to do is that I want to grab my yarn and I want to start my next row. So remember which way that you had it turned. So I did this in a way that it makes sense. If you're not sure, just pull it out and you can see what direction you came from, so that you know which direction that you need to start in. And it matters, of course. So obviously I came in this direction. I had already had it turned properly. I thought I did it anyway, but I was kind of paranoid. So when we go to start this one, we're gonna just lean it up, and then we'll begin the next row. So we've already done all of our counting. Now we just have to maintain the pattern. It's that fabulous. So let's begin to do the next row. So as we begin to do the next row, this is exactly what you already know. So we are going to continue our journey. So we're going to make this chevron motion. So if you've already clued in, you already have the long double trebles, you have the pairs, you have 2 sets of these if you look at it the way that we did it. So we're just gonna maintain what we already know at this point. And the trick is to make sure that we get our sleeve section all settled in. So we're gonna start this. So we're gonna go 8 up, and then 3 at the top, 8 down, and then the 3 together at the base. So when we get to the sleeve area, if you have to chain the set number, it's either chaining 0 or 20. So if there's no chaining, then you just jump on over. If there's a chaining, you will add 20 chains there, and then that will create the space for you, and then you continue the same pattern then going around. So we will get there in just momentarily. So when you go to start this one, of course you're going to chain your 2 and put your first 2 together as always. And then you do your 8 up, and then the middle one has 3 in it and then 8 down and then 3 together. So you already know what you're doing at this point. It's just a matter of following it around. And so I will meet you at the sleeve just to verify you know what you're doing, and maybe I do too, who knows. So I'll see you at the sleeve in just a moment. So continuing along, so when you jumped over the yarn, I have to go 8 down, by the way. So I'm just at the top. So when you think about it, you jumped over a set amount that was the sleeve, so that means that you eliminated all those stitches. So in my case, I eliminated 160 stitches from having to go around, so therefore it should be much faster. I really like this yarn. I really like the look. It's just a bit slow going because the yarn's so thin, but you know, you can't have always the same look with thicker yarn. So I'm really appreciating this project a lot. I've been enjoying the thinner yarns as of lately, so I don't know why, but I am. So what I want to do is that I want to come down. So I've got my 3 in the top. I know it's hard to see here. So it's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So I have my 8 going down, so my next 3 are together. So I want to just put my 3 together on the same panel here. Okay, so don't jump over to the next panel yet. So just grabbing it, it's fiddly to do this the first time across, and you'll do the same with both sides. So you want to get your 3 together and then pull through all those. Now if you had to chain, this is where you'll do it. Chain 20, then jump to the next one, and the goal is that you just have to immediately start in the next panel which has been joined, and you have to make sure that you're starting so that you're doing 8 double crochets that are nice cleanly done. If you're not sure where it is, just look for the middle and count back from the second one from the middle. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8. So that's where you want to join, is the 8th one, and begin to do your 8 going up. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8, and the next one should be the middle one, and it is, and so you'll put 3 in there, and so you'll continue around until you hit the next sleeve, and you'll do exactly what I just showed you. Okay, so whatever size that you're working on. So now it's been permanently attached, as you can see right there. So it's been permanently attached, so these stitch markers can technically now come out because you now officially have it attaching together. So continue to go all the way around. Do the same with the next sleeve, and then I'll see you at the end of this round. So when we come all the way to the end, we're just finishing it off with 2 together like we always had been in the past, and then we just join it to the top at the beginning. So now the sleeves have been defined, and you may want to lay it out just to double check. You can probably remove your stitch markers, but I'm gonna leave them in. So now the repeat pattern for the remaining of this whole thing now is going from 2 through 5. So 2 3 4 5, and you already know what to do because this is 2 3 4 5. You already know what to do. So the difference is that you're just not going around the yoke, you're just going around the body. So to start the next section, you're gonna chain 6. So 1 2 3 4 5 6. Of course skip the first one and start double trebling it in the second one away, and do that all the way around. Okay, so you already know what to do. So I'll just cover it anyway just to make sure that you got it. So then just double treble every other one with a chain 1 that separates them as you had been in the past. Please do this all the way around. Now when you get to the arm sleeves, if you jumped over, you were just immediately just continuing, and if you have a chain, the chain 20, make sure you go into each specific chain. Don't go into the space because it'll bunch. So if you go right into the chain itself, it'll hold it into position. So make sure that every other chain across that will have a double treble in order to keep that, and you'll do that on both sides of course if you have the chain. So continue to do this all the way around. This is round number 2, which is the repeat pattern for the body. So I've just come all the way back around and I'm just going to attach it to the 5th chain up to maintain that chain 1 space. Pull through so it's a slip stitch. Now we're gonna turn our work and begin the next row, which you already know. You already know it anyway. I don't know why I keep saying that. So we're gonna slip stitch to the first chain 1 and you're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3 and double crochet in the same chain 1 space. So each chain 1 space, again as what we've done before, is 2 double crochet and then go all the way around. Maybe back here in just a moment. So I'm just coming all the way back around, putting my 2 double crochets in each one of the chain 1 spaces. So now we're gonna go back to doing the chevron. So just attach it to the beginning, chain 3, turn. So have you figured out why we're turning at the end? I haven't addressed that the whole thing. It keeps the seam line going completely parallel and you barely see it when you do that. So if you go in a continuous circle, you'll see that the seam line will go up on an angle and then eventually follow around to some visual part of the top that you won't want it to be. So to begin, you're gonna chain 2 as always, and then you're gonna bring the first 2 together. So you're starting off in the valley. And then you're gonna put 8 in a row and then 3 into the next, 8 in a row, and then bring 3 together, and you're gonna do that all the way around. It's exactly what you've done before, so please do that now. So this is the 4th of the 5th round for repeat. So when you get all the way to the end of this round, you're just gonna put your final 2 together. Attach it to the beginning and then turn. And so then this is the 5th round. It's already what you know, and I'm gonna be leaving you here in today's tutorial for you to finish the rest of it. There is no bottom trim. There are no arm sleeve trim. This is what it is. So you're just gonna start up and you'll put your first 2 together and then 8 and then 3 into the top and then 8 and then collect the next 3 and put those together. So that will be the 5th round. So you'll end up with these bands like you see. So when I go to pull this apart, let's just take a quick look at this now. And so that's what it kind of looks like. So let me just back you out a little bit here. So this is what it looks like, and you have your body that is being done here. You have your arm sleeves, which is here, and everything looks pretty amazing. So this is where I'm gonna leave you today, and you have to get your certain amount of inches done. So for the sizes, it's 12 inches down or it's 14 depending on where you are. So let me zoom you back in and show you that. Okay, so it's either 12 or 14 down, and then you just stop. So you end on the round number 5, which is the one that we're just starting. So you can see that the striping just carries its way down all the way, and it's a really great top. So until next time, it's Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at Yarnspirations.com. Please enjoy this zigzag crochet top. It's a little bit of work. Well, it's a lot of work, but I think once you get this done, I think you'll be very satisfied with it. And once you wear it too, it'll stretch out and the stitch work will just absolutely be amazing. So until next time, have a good one, and we hope to see you again real soon. Bye bye.